Hello children. Few steps, few instruction can save number of lives. So be safe, make others too. Once again, all you are most welcome in Google Classroom. I am Premlata Shukla in midst of you with a new topic for class 10th from Geography chapter 7, and that is Lifelines of National Economy. But children, before moving towards the topic, let me remind you to subscribe our channel, press the bell icon for further notifications. Now, let's move on our today's topic, and that is Lifelines of National Economy. Students, actually this topic is not new for us because number of previous classes you have read about transportation and communication. What are they and how they are useful for us? But when we give reference to both of them, transportation and communication, to the national economy, they are considered as the lifelines because they are essential for progress and development for a country. Goods and services cannot move on their own from supply houses to demand locals. To meet this requirement, they need transportation. Globalization has been possible on account of easier and fast developing communication channels between the countries of the world. Well, let's take one example. Our country that is also well connected with the rest of the world due to these two things, transport and communication, which have contributed a lot to the development of our national economy. Now, let's start the chapter with contents, and our contents are: number 1, means of transport, importance of transport, roadways, their classification, railways, pipelines, waterways, and airways. First of all, means of transport. Student, carrying passengers and goods from one place to another, linking producers and consumers to serve as the backbone of the economy. Modern means of transport are the lifelines of nation. These are the 5 corresponding means of transport as shown below. Yes, the transport, different transport I have given here. You may seen the flow chart I have given here. Land, water and air. Land, that is also divided into roadways, railways and pipelines. While on we talk about water, that is inland and overseas. Air, domestic airways, international airways. Domestic airways also segregated or divided into 2 parts: public undertaking as well as private airlines. Basically, whenever we talk about the means of transport, obviously we talk about the sources which carry passengers and goods from one place to another, which connect producers and consumers. Transport adds value to commodities, maintain the balance of demand and supply in the economy. That's why modern means of transport are considered the lifelines of nation. Well, student, roadways, railways, whatever the means of transport I have mentioned here, all are major means of transport which play a vital role in the development of the world. Now, why transport is important? Means, what is the importance of transport? Yes, student, they play a very significant role in economy growth and globalization. And of course, I must say it is most important because it is not only plays a significant role in economic growth and globalization, but enables communication, trade and other forms of exchange between people, that in turn establishes civilization. Common people, skilled or unskilled workers, means laborers, they can also move distant places in search of livelihood just because of transport. Due to the movement of people, balance of demand and supply in the economy always be maintained. So children, we use different materials and things in our daily life couldn't be accessed easily if transport of different modes wouldn't have provided by the technology. Now, first of all, our first means of transport, let's start with roadways and their classification. Student, as we know that India has one of the largest network in the world, about 3.32 million kilometers. Though in India roads are being constructed at a very fast pace, but still density of roads is very low. Okay, if we do compare between or do comparison between roads and railways, then we find roadways have an edge over railways. Roadways have an edge over railways due to some reasons. Like roads require less investment as compared to railways. These can be built at higher altitudes and at any place. Road transportation is easy and is within the reach of common man and is available for 24 hours. Maintenance cost is also very low. Extension of agriculture is possible only through road transportation. Apart of that, or apart of their comparison, we still facing some problems, some road problems, like road network is still not sufficient in India as compared to demand and volume of traffic. Conditions and most of the roads are very poor. These become muddy during the monsoon season, very or highly congested in cities. Now, classification roads I have given here, like golden quadrilateral superhighways, national highways, state highways, district roads, village roads and border roads. First of all, let's start with the golden quadrilateral superhighways. Students, the superhighways have been planned to meet the requirement of fast movement of traffic. The government has launched a major road development project linking Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, Mumbai, the all metropolitan cities, and a part of that, the north-south corridor linking Srinagar and Kanyakumari, and east-west corridor connecting Silchar, that is in Assam, and Porbandar in Gujarat. If we talk about the major objective, means the main motto behind it, these superhighways is to reduce the time, not only the time and distance between the mega cities or the metropolitan cities of India. These highway projects are being implemented by the National Highway Authority of India, that is also known as NHA. Now next, that is national highways. The main roads which are constructed and maintained by the Central Public Works Department CPWD are known as national highways. Basically, these roads connect the state capitals and big cities and important ports also. Now, state highways, these are constructed and maintained by the state government. State Public Works Department look after these roads, and these roads join the state capitals and district headquarters and other important towns. District roads, these roads link the district centers with the major roads. Village road, obviously these connect the villages with the neighboring towns as well as cities. These roads play a very vital role in the development of villages because these help the farmers to take their products to cities and district headquarters. Border roads, The Border Roads Organization BRO. It was established in 1960 just for the development of roads of strategic importance in the northern and northeast border areas. We talk about other roads like rural roads which link rural areas and villages with towns are classified under this category. Basically, these roads received special amount under the Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana. Now, I have given the map of National Superways and Highways of India. Students, you can easily understand, you can easily get the national highways and super highways with the help of this political map of India. Our next topic, that is railways, the principal mode of transport. Why railways are principal mode of transport? Actually, railways is the main transport of India for freight and passengers. Railways also make it possible to conduct multifarious, means multi-purpose activities. Number of activities railways perform like business, sightseeing, pilgrimage, along with transportation of goods over long distances. Apart from an important means of transport, the Indian railways have been a great integrating force for more than 150 years. Railways in India bound to economic life of the country as well as the accelerate the development of the industry and agriculture. Indian Railway, that is the largest public sector undertaking in the country. Student, if we talk about distribution of railways, then the pattern of railway network in the country has been largely influenced by the physiographic, economic as well as administrative factors. Like, let me give you examples. If we talk about northern plains, they have highly density of railway lines. Why? Just because of due to vast level and high population density and rich agricultural resources. While on the other hand, in the hilly terrains of the peninsular region, railway tracks are laid through low hills or gaps of tunnels. So these states are unfavorable for the construction of railways lines due to the high relief, less density of population, and lack of economic opportunities. That's why it is very difficult to lay railway lines or railway tracks on the sandy plain of western Rajasthan and swampy areas of Gujarat. Along with, we have major problems of Indian railways also. Like, most of the tracks are very old. Many passengers, they are used to travel without tickets. People pull chains unnecessarily, which cause heavy loss to the railway. Frequent accident also cause great loss to the railways. Now next topic, that is pipelines. Student, pipeline transport is becoming a very important means of transport, especially for the petrochemical industries. In the port, pipelines were used only to transport water, but now they are used for transporting crude oil, natural gas, petroleum products, etc. Many advantages of pipeline transportations are like rules out delay and transportation's losses, means transportation through pipelines rules out delay and transportation losses. Many fertilizers plant and thermal power stations, really they are benefiting by the supply of gas through pipelines. Though initial cost of laying pipeline is high, but running cost is very low. It maintains continuous supply of gas and oil. The pipes can be laid through difficult terrains as well as under sea also. Like the far inland locations of different refineries. Let me give you some names like Barauni, Mathura, Panipat. This could be thought just because of pipelines. Now waterways. Since time immemorial, means not only the modern time, we talk about earlier in the ancient time, India were completely interconnected with waterways, means the maximum trade took place not only in modern time, in earlier time also, with the help of waterways. India was also one of the seafaring countries. Its seamen sailed far and near, not means it was not beneficial in the field of trade. In fact, they carrying and spreading Indian commerce and culture. Now, importance of waterways. It is the most suitable for carrying heavy and bulky goods. Waterways are the cheapest and oldest means of transport. It is a fuel efficient as well as environment friendly mode of transport. The element of wear and tear is very less. Around 95% of the country's trade volume is moved by the sea. With the development of national waterways, it has become main source of transportation for the natural trade. Now, some national waterways are there because the government has declared some waterways as national waterways also, like Ganga river. That is the way, means that is also declared by the government as national waterways, which connected between Allahabad and Haldia. Brahmaputra river between Sadia and Dhubri, and in the same way Godavari, Krishna, East-West Canal, Damodar Valley Corporation Canal are other inland waterways. Some major seaports are also there like Kandla seaport, Mumbai seaport, Kochi, Tuticorin, Vishakhapatnam, Chennai, Haldia, Kolkata. Many major seaports are there. If we talk about Kandla seaport, it is in Kutch district of Gujarat. This was the first port developed soon after independence to ease the volume of trade on the Mumbai port. It is a tidal port. Mumbai, that is the biggest port with a spacious natural and well sheltered harbour. Kochi, extreme southwestern port located at the entrance of a lagoon with a natural harbour. Tuticorin, this is also in Tamil Nadu and it has a natural harbour and rich hinterland. Vishakhapatnam, it is the deepest landlocked and well protected port. Kolkata, though I have not written here, but it is also one of the major seaport. It is an inland rivering port. This port serves a very large and rich hinterland of Ganga Brahmaputra basin. It is a tidal port, so it requires constant degrading of Hooghly. Haldia, that is also the port, is in West Bengal. Now move on. Airways. Airways, that is the fastest mode of transport, though it is still the costliest mode of transport, but with the entry of private companies there is very possibility that in near future it will become the main source of transportation. Many advantages of airways are there, like it is the fastest means of transport. It can cover very difficult terrains, means where the roads are cannot simply construct there. Railways to play the tracks of railways not easily, means such a adverse condition or terrains that region only the one means of transport can reach, and it is only the airways. So it can cover difficult terrains like high mountains, desert, dreary, thick forest, long stretches of seas with great ease. Airways also help in increasing the trade, especially that of perishable products. It reduces pressure on roads as well as on railways. Let me tell you, the air transport was nationalized in 1953. It provides international air services like Pawan Hans Helicopters Limited, provides helicopter services to oil and natural gas commission in its offshore operations to inaccessible areas and difficult terrains. Now, I have given you a map of India, political map of India, that shows different major sea routes, ports, and international airports. Now let's move on our revision work. Students, on the basis of explanation, I have given here some questions. Number 1, that is, why are the means of transportation and communication called the lifelines of a nation and its economy? Students, the means of transportation and communication called the lifelines of a nation and its economy because both help in production and movement of goods and services. Due to the development of both, like transport and communication, they have brought the world closer. Now, global or international trade could be easier and more fast than earlier just because of transport and communication. Now, it's clear, students, that there are many advantages of transport and communication. They help in the development in the country. That's why they are called lifelines of a nation and its economy. Question number 2, describe any 5 major problems faced by road transport in India. So, road network is not enough. I've told you, road network is not enough or sufficient to handle heavy traffic that not only seen in small towns, even metropolitan cities. Still, many roads are unmetalled, their qualities are very poor. Few roads are still facing the problem during monsoon season. Many accidents take place. Now, next question, how are pipelines useful? Pipelines are useful for the transportation of liquid products. Especially petrochemical industries are used pipelines because with the help of pipeline, these products easily transport from distant places, and these products are crude oil, petrochemicals, natural gas, etc. Last, what are the super highways? Super highways are 6-lane highways connecting major cities and ports of the country for speedy movement of goods as well as passengers, like Golden Quadrilateral, North-South corridors, etc. Students, half of the topic transportation I have completed. Very soon we will be with our next topic of the same chapter, that is communication. Till then, bye bye.